guys, we still have one more game for you today. We've already had 2 done and dusted. It almost went to overtime, or the deciding map in Game 2. The Game 1 was incredibly close. We're having some fantastic matches, and we are so excited to be bringing you the final one of the day. We had a lot of favorites so far, but we were missing one very vital team. PENTA, another big fan favorite out there, up against a new kind of addition, Stronk coming into this. What do we make of this matchup here?
Well, you mentioned the most significant part is, of course, Stronk. I mean, a team that we haven't seen before.
While I find my notes.
Of course, coming in from the second place from the Silver Series even. I mean, Ding came first, and then just barely under them was Strong. A very solid season from them, and a massive, obviously, congratulations for joining us for the first/6th seasons of the Wargaming League Europe. But they're one of these Polish teams that have a lot of the old players. As I said before, you kind of see this Polish player, this Polish blood go through the league, and they change around. You know, it's one time the Evil Panaskud got knocked out. Now they're in a strong Siema, and I think they're going to be another great team for sure.
Yeah, you've got Catch Me coming in, Never Give Up, and Butcher as well, which is a very old school name. I was a big fan of Butcher. He had a bit of an off part of some of his play at some points, but when he performs, he was absolutely incredible to watch. So another good player. So even though the team itself is necessarily fairly unknown, the players inside it are pretty prolific within the WGL EU. So eyes on this team. Big fan of the Poland ball, clearly that side. Gotta love it, right? But yeah, it's not just about us and our thoughts, it's about you guys at home. Melly, how the people can get involved here? How can they get those votes through to you, and where can they do it?
Well, the easiest way is heading over to our Facebook page on facebook.com/WGLEU and participate in the team vote. It's like the first post on our timeline, so you can barely miss it. Just click the link. You get forwarded to an app where you can vote for your favorite team, like choosing the logos, and then you have to enter the exact prediction of the scoreline of this matchup. So keep in mind, we can probably play 9 rounds, so don't do something below that. It's, well, there has to be a 5 somewhere in the scoreline to like get the right score, and you have enough time to vote. It's the vote is open throughout the first map, closes when we enter the second map. But as soon as, well, keep in mind that the earlier you enter the team vote, the higher your chances are of actually winning. So if you don't know where to decide, just take your time, of course, but keep in mind if someone ahead of you guesses the right prediction, then he gets a code and you don't. And we're giving out 3 codes amongst every participant in every team vote. So 3 times 3, which makes 9 codes per day over
Maths
the team
on air
votes.
is scary, Melly. We don't do that.
But it worked. I don't know how, but yeah. People, it's easy. Head over to Facebook and figure it out yourself. It's really, really easy. It's easier than me explaining to you. And the other way is, of course, using the hashtag WGLEU over at Twitter. Also make sure following us on Twitter to get notifications as soon as we have new news to announce in our Wall of Tanks, well, WGLEU Universum, because we spread the word over social media pretty much at first. Well, of course, first on our website, eu.wgleague.net, and then on our social media platforms. So if you follow all those Facebooks and Twitters and also bookmark the website itself, you can barely miss anything.
You'd have to try to miss stuff. If you followed all of them, you'd have to genuinely try to avoid the information and the chance to win codes. And everyone likes bonus codes. I think you should just spam chat with it.
No.
Melly really likes that.
You've just opened a very dangerous side of World of Tanks players that we don't like usually.
We're trying to behave
devil.
them over the past seasons, and it kind of worked.
No.
Our mods are doing an awesome job. And
Sorry,
then
mods.
Lauren happens.
Or just Kappa. Kappa works fine. Kappa 1, 2, 3.
Fine. We love Kappa.
Kappa codes.
Kipo.
Kipo's my favorite. Kipo's my new baby. It's up there.
It's so cute.
And, of course, as the producer reminded me, press F to pay respect. Another one of my fan favourites. Thank you, Call of Duty. Shout out to you. Awful game. But talking about a good game. hey, I'm insulting you.
That was like a solid 2-minute monologue about internet memes. It was great.
Dank memes. That's what I'm here for. That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
we
employed.
have pretty much almost one
We do.
as a logo.
Exactly. We can't
behind us.
ignore it right now. It's right there behind you.
I
Like, you're
love
trying to
that
be
logo.
like
I
a
love it.
professional person, and you've got Poland ball behind you. It's like, how professional can
It's
we
funny
be?
because they're called Stronk Siema, which is like in World Tanks is like an infamous thing where you go in a game because there's so many Polish players.
Yeah.
The Polish players always go Siema. It's like, hi, other Polish people. So hi, other Polish people, and these are all Polish players, so their name Stronk Siema is basically taking the piss out of themselves. So it's
That's
pretty
fantastic. I like that. I like that. The guys
Plus
not
the
taking it too
logo.
seriously. Plus the logo. They're taking over, guys. We've got to be careful here.
Yeah.
But no, Poland Ball is back with us, and I'm looking forward to this one. I like a bit of personality, a little bit of fun to it. But when the game starts, I can assure you it is all action, and it is all very serious for these guys because there's a lot of money on the line overall. I'll be breaking down the prize pot for you later into this season. But just to give you guys an idea, a lot of the teams in the last season, it was quite top heavy. If you were top 3, you got a lot of money coming out of it. This season, though, the prize distribution's a little different. It's actually better spread throughout, the wider set of teams. So new teams come into this can actually support themselves. So fantastic work from Wargaming then, just kind of trying to really
Wargaming,
support the
okay,
team.
yeah.
All right, sorry, Ollie. Ollie got his card out. He's got £2.50. He's been winging it around. He bought someone a coal shot at one point.
£2.50 is about 2,000 euros at the
Exactly,
moment.
that conversion rate, yeah.
No, also that was worth mentioning. I mean, you can obviously download our rulebook. It'll be on the portal very shortly, but it's very clear. I mean, if you look on the announcement news on worldtanks.eu, you can actually go to the rulebook. We have a completely new system where basically, we want the teams to create content, and if the teams create content, they get rewarded for it. So, we
really
hope you
cool.
guys can enjoy some of the awesome stuff the teams are going to create in terms of live streams, YouTube channels, Twitter, Facebook posts, giveaways. There's going to be a lot of cool things you guys can get involved with soon.
And I absolutely love the fact that a lot of the players individually now stream themselves as well, just how they train, how they warm up, how they get prepared for the WGL EU, and it's brilliant to watch. So if you want
And
like
if
a
it's
little
a
bit of an
Killzone,
insight,
we can laugh. And I have to say, he's deceptive to the North Americans.
how could he?
I don't know.
How could he do that to us?
Every man at his price, I guess. Same with Arclay, actually.
Do you reckon there was a little bit of signing bonus then? Like, here's the big dollar bills.
I don't know why you would
That's
sign
fine.
that Killzone. I mean, Applewell, Nuclear.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you got like the best in the world. Adorable little apple wow.
Careful,
He's
even
so
with
cute.
them playing in another region, they can still watch. I'm just saying.
Hey, it's fine. I'll mock Daki all I want. He deserves it. All right. After the grand finals, we all know what Daki is like. Okay?
He usually does it himself.
And he normally doesn't even turn up half the time.
He's
so,
not going to be able to get into America because he'll have lost his passport. So
That's true. In case you guys didn't know, just a little insight into Daki. The player profiles. We like to give really in-depth stuff. Fact is, he lost his passport when we were out in the grand finals because he's a bit of a special person at times. He's not all there at moments. Really does become a bit slow. But we love you, Daki.
he
We
found
love
it
you.
in his laundry bag, by
He
the way.
did.
when
He was
got
like
home.
ready to
After
go
going-
to like. Where
No,
did he go to the
he
embassy?
went to the embassy and got
Wow, that's really smart. It was in his laundry bag. I'm so proud of you.
But he was
That's it.
lucky that that he's a Belgian citizen.
Yeah, he got sorted pretty easily on that, so that's all good for him. So lucky for him, he was okay. Congratulations, Embassy, you absolutely nailed it. But that aside, good luck to all the players who's kind of migrated to NA, which I find quite baffling. How many players are now kind of turning their attention towards going over to the NA scene, Have to see how it works out. If it goes wrong, it'll be a bit awkward. But, all faith there. Daki, no pressure. But yeah, why Daki over Applewell? Why?
I mean,
Even the looks aren't there.
to be fair, he found a team which he's comfortable in and
Yeah.
he wants to play with. So, I mean,
I guess.
all Godspeed to him and everything like that. I mean, if he can do well there, and I think he will do. I mean, the team is very strong. It's going to be a good matchup for them. But I mean, while we wait for PENTA and Stronk Siema to get ready, I mean, we talked about Killzone because he was the guy who left PENTA.
Yes, and he was a big factor as
which
well.
is the biggest change. I mean, I would say apart from maybe, I don't know who's their second most roster
Infamous
changes.
player or something.
Kaznaku, I guess, but they had it before the grand finals. Perhaps Team Supreme,
Yeah,
exceedingly
Team
well played.
Supreme, I guess.
But Penta's definitely got some of the biggest roster changes. I mean, we got to Killzone, we just mentioned. Agorni went to ASAP, the team which has
mad.
gone through, just qualified through the Open qualifier. Carmen's out, Grom's gone out as well. New multi-show is back in. Raven and Message and Mr. Chef, of course, and then lastly the Polish powerhouse Raging Potato. Well,
there's a lot to be thought about in this game. We're going to find out a lot of answers to our questions any second now. First map is going to be Ruinberg. All right, Alrighty, guys, it is time to jump into this one. We're back on Ruinberg, and on the attack, it's going to be PENTA. On the fence, on the defense is Stronk, and I'm already messing this one up. Ollie, save me.
Well, that was a good start there. But we got the T-37 from Hacky. It's an all-in strategy, I would say. Going all towards the zero line, it's pretty solid. Now, I had the chance to look at PENTA play on this map, and in the trainings didn't go too well. Let's see if this works out this time.
Oh, Hacky just got an absolute pounding, and that is massive damage coming in. The crossfire is on point. The sound is obscenely loud, but it doesn't matter. Here comes a reply. Stronk is coming back into this, but no. Raven finds one. Butcher's down pretty low here. Butcher's going to be obliterated. That's a massive pickup already. How the hell did PENTA just work that out so quickly?
Well, they went all in. You definitely have to play it towards the eastern village if you want to try and counter that tactic. Basically, you just use Hacky in that T-37 as a block towards that eastern village. You put the AMX 1390s, and two of them will easily be able to take down the two T-54s. The 1,440 damage from the F3 gun is what secures you the deal there. Now, the best thing Stronk Siema has to do is basically just stay towards that eastern village and not go too far forwards, not, tempt the devil from the side, which is, of course, Killer Pit and Raging Potato.
Oh, Jack is going in, though. That's kind of dangerous. He's on a limb. That IS-3 can take a bit of a beating, but what is he doing? Is this W key gotten stuck down? What is he up to? What does he think he's going to achieve here? Yeah, he might do a little bit of damage, but Numocho is still alive. He's still doing these shells, and Yak has gone down already. That is a huge loss for absolutely nothing gained. Guccio's still in there doing these decent, shots here and there, but they're down so much.
No, for sure. I mean, PENTA have such a big upper hand now. I think the best thing they can do is have Killer Pit, Raging Potato, get a good stronghold onto that eastern village. They need to bring the dead zone a message forward, so they need to make Guccio and Steroids go backwards so they can't spot them as they go along through those bushes. So big deal, bigger plays from PENTA. They seem to have got this map nailed down for sure. I mean, it was hardly a surprise actually that they were training this one in the off season as the dead zone and the message search forwards and do find Guccio.
Finally, a little bit of aggression coming out from PENTA after that initial great play. And now look at this. Stronk are just surrounding all fronts. Steroids, man after your own heart there, is a little bit surrounded all fronts. Killer Pit's going to pick him up, and this is just one-sided as it gets. PENTA just looking so much better overall. Okay, Never Give Up still in this, but he's just done nothing the whole game. He's been out of the battle. The T-69 just not finding his place, and he's going to be just destroyed by Message coming in from DRL, joining PENTA and proving his value already. Great first pickup there from PENTA. That was so decisive. You said it was quite an all-in play, and it worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked. I mean, that was classic zero-line push from PENTA. Double AMX 1390 and a T-37. They go in, they took those two T-54s down, and, those 250 doors for a T-37, it was huge. And then you saw how Jack tried to go forwards. He thought he was safe from the side, but he wasn't.
You've worked on that pronunciation, haven't you?
Yeah, for sure. And double AMX 1390 managed to take him down as well. So it was a 3-for-1 exchange, and by that time it was game over. There's very little Stronk Siema could really do. So
what happened with the IS-3 as well? Because
I just said he went forwards and he got killed.
But why? I know what he did. I remember him going very slowly towards 4 people. But is there anything logical you could write that up to? Is there anything he could have gained? Did he not expect that many people in the same position? Because I'm pretty sure they knew that there was at least 2 there, right?
The problem was that, I mean, I don't know why he went forward. He decided to get himself killed. I think with those IS-3s,
okay, fair enough.
he could have stayed safe. He thought he could take down those AMX 1390s because they're on reload. But the thing is, the problem was that Stronk Siema didn't get the spots on early enough onto PENTA, and that whole situation just went really badly for them. If you want to win that engagement, you just have to stay in the eastern village and then thwart off the damage, thwart off the areas. And I guess PENTA took a little bit of a gamble and they didn't go for the northern cap. I've seen PENTA do a lot of northern cap pushes, which haven't always been so successful.
Well, it's time for round number 2 here. PENTA on the attack still. Stronk on the defense. Let's see what we've got coming out this time. The lineups look a little different. PENTA bringing out the IS-3s and showing as to why they're trying out that northern cap. You mentioned it a second ago. Are they actually going to go for this one?
Well, yeah, I think they are. What the key is here, just to go push straight across. Wilson is way too far forwards. You know, if he's going to be anyway, he's got to go to the left side. I know it's easier to blind shot, but still, it's way too much for him to be in, and now it's a bad situation. The dead zone is going to take a little bit more damage, and some bad positioning by him doesn't help. But a good overmatch from to Never Give Up, who's now reloading. He's got 20 seconds left on that one.
And Message is going to have his way with him, sadly, and Message just a couple of seconds so he can really deliver. 9 seconds left on that reload. Never Give Up. It may have a couple of shells to make by now, but actually Raven and Message getting a little bit too far out, taking a little bit of damage, and now having to back away. But with 20 seconds, it looks like this game is already being pressured here by PENTA. They are so close to winning this.
Yeah, they are very, very on point at this point in time. They've clearly been you know, working on their Ruinberg, and considering what the Russian team do against them, they need to be working on it, as it looks like Stronk Siema do want to try and push in and at least do some damage to PENTA.
This is a big lineup of players, though. You've got to see if what it is. New multi-show in here, playing well. You've got Message, another standout player. Individually, this team is pretty damn strong. I didn't even recognize it until I saw it. But Speaker to try and come in with a reset. Doesn't hit the shot he needed to, actually takes a shell. He might not even have time for this. Oh, this is a disaster. Finally, the reset comes in, but look how much he's lost to try and commit for that. He goes down, and that was just poor work.
Yeah, almost game over. Raging Potato just doing damage against his own comrades, but now they have done finally some good damage against Raven, whom that MX-1390 fell, but it might just be a little bit too little too late.
Yeah, let's see if Message can do anything. Of course he can. It's Message, a huge player for DRL back in the days, and now finding his home at PENTA. Will finally be dealt with by Butcher, but at the end of the day, Stronk is down to 2 players, up against 4 who have substantially more HP than them, and you're going to see that firepower coming into place. Raging Potato has a shell. Now, he's not going to miss, and Steroids is down to a 1-shot here. It's a matter of who has it first. Hacky going to try his work, but it's the dead zone to close it down, and PENTA now 2-0 up, and I've got to say it, looking a mile ahead of Stronk here.
And what's really interesting is that in both occasions, I mean, they didn't have the middle area. Like, we've seen so many times that teams pushing up through the middle area and either go, well, most of the time going right and into the eastern village. Neither time PENTA have done that Tantic, and they've won both times. So massive props. But, you know, that attacking side on Ruinbergs is always about gambling. You got to gamble correctly, and both times it's been a pretty good roll of dice for them. So
let's kind of just take stock of what we've seen from Stronk so far. Has there been any good showing, or has it just been pretty much at the mercy of PENTA? If PENTA maybe made an error here or there, maybe Stronk will do something, but they always seem to be kind of catching up. I didn't see them make much of an impression so far.
No, they haven't. But then again, you know, it's been pretty quick games, and you know, I think if you look at that round, Wilson being in the wrong position didn't help, and also
he got called out really early.
When you're defending that cap, they usually put the IS-3 towards the left side in a kind of hold down position. They didn't have that at all. They didn't have a tank there, which is really, really strange because it's such a strong position, and it almost seems impossible to defend the northern cap without an IS-3 there. Never Give Up playing the T69. I know in Evil Panda Squad he liked that tank a lot, but you could see its limitations where after those first 4 shells, it just wasn't enough damage to do significant work against Message, who played the T54 and did such great work through the later parts of the game as well, because he had so much hit points to play around with.
And just kind of thinking about it now, I just realized how much power there is on that PENTA side, because Message, even though he I don't know, I felt he was a very strong individual. I wouldn't say he was the best team player in the world. I wouldn't say he was the best person in a lineup sometimes. But couple him with the likes of Numocha, you've got some really, really damn good players now playing with PENTA. And Numocha apparently was on a break, according to some, for a while. He took a step back. He played out on his own a little bit. I'd say a little bit. I mean a lot. But
well, he got kicked from EPS in December.
His kind of, if he comes back in and actually kind of adjusts the attitude, right? Because it's a rude awakening. When you get kicked out of a lineup, it's like, wow, I really did mess up. If he's kind of taken it to heart, gone back and done the work and kind of worked on his issues, which are very clear, it's not his skill. New Multishow skill is massive, but sometimes he's just not in the fights with his team. He's out on his own, he's doing his own thing, which kind of hurts the team. But if these guys come together in this lineup, this is a pretty good team.
Well, you have to consider this. New Multishow knows what his issues are. He knows that he's too much of an individual player, and that's why he got kicked from EPS. And he doesn't want to be making that same mistakes with PENTA. And so far, what I've seen from them, they're not making those mistakes. He's been together with the team a little bit more. I mean, of course, he's always going to have that problem, but then he gets the damage to kind of bolster those results.
Jesus. Well, Raging Potato just got absolutely destroyed. Well, that's one way to start things off, and it worked. Stronk coming out with...
That was a good adaptation there.
Yeah, that's incredible. This is very different.
I mean, that was pretty... I've never seen that one before. Wilson going forwards in that T-37. He expects the T-54s to go into the middle to basically snipe down. But I think maybe even Stronk Siema expected PENTA to be a little bit more aggressive through the middle, so they just put all of their big tanks behind and absolutely obliterated the first thing that was spotted. So already a tier 8 tank advantage. Big plays by Strong, but it does give PENTA a good amount of information and, of course, a bit of time to play around with to set up something that can kind of counter the fact that they've lost a tier 8 tank already.
I want to see what they can do now. This is the first time we've really seen Stronk have the advantage. It's the first time we've seen them in a good position going forward. They look like they're trying to mobilize towards the north. There is, however, an IS-3 and a T-37 in place. Is this what you were expecting or hoping that Stronk were going to utilize in their turn on this?
Well, it's really heavy. I mean, seriously heavy. We saw TCM, for instance, be really aggressive with those IS-3s. I mean, it's pretty good. What we'll see is, we've seen this in the grand final as well, in the few times Ruinberg was played. The heavy tanks will go towards the cap because Ruinberg, whatever you say, is always going to be about the caps. The positioning just, makes it a really cap-centric map. And Message and Newmalt show just immediately wanting a little piece of Wilson.
And they're going to get it. Newmalt show they're not a man to miss. And that's a very deadly duo. Just going to keep your eyes on that one. But we are seeing the plane towards the north. The 110 being picked up, IS-3 and IS-3 there, kind of grinding to a halt for Guccio, kind of slowing down, but Speed and Butcher are certainly not. Steroids finds Hacky, and now, well, the IS-3 and the 5100 up towards that northeast side are going to have to hold on here and withstand as the backup is slowly arriving, but a 22-second cap is not bad at all. Speed overextends, gets punished by the 5100 just off towards the north, and that's the dead zone with a couple more shells to make. Butcher gets thwarted as well, and now at 10 seconds, Raven's going to be looking around that corner. He's going to have to land that shot, but he's taken some damage. Strong might get this, but no, there's a shell finally coming out from Killer Pit, I believe, and this is where the fold's going to begin.
It has to be about never give up, but it looks like PENTA have put a lot of resources to try and get this cap reset.
Yeah, they certainly have. We're seeing Raven, we're seeing Nuocho and Message all there, slowly but surely laying down fire. Butcher now and Speed in a 1v2 against Killer Pit. He's in trouble up in the north, and these three need to help him out here. They need to break in and stop that cap being even an option, but Stronk are holding this pretty damn well at the moment. I've got to say it. Now Message, Nuocho and Raven going to turn their attention to Never Give Up. He's the weakness. He's out on his own, and they can overmatch, and they will. Nuocho dispatches of him, and now you can see the tables turning. Killer Pit is handling this so well up in the north. He's been taking these guys 1v2. The IS-3 is just withstanding it, and the cap is being slowed down, but there's still a lot of firepower and HP with Stronk.
Ooh, Killer Pit has to win this 1 versus 1. He can't allow Butcher to do too much damage, but he's trapped in a really awkward situation. Now those tier 8 heavy tanks are getting into their own. New multi-show again, kind of too far back, and he's let Raven and Message to basically die, and Killer Pit is losing that 1 versus 1 against the legendary Butcher.
Yeah, Butcher's not going to be outdone by this. He knows how to play these. Ooh, Killer Pit just going to wait on that shell. It's about who's first and who lands it. Nuocho finds one. Oh, Killer Pit comes up with the goods. Down to 4 HP. And now 2v2. 2 minutes and 56 seconds left. Nuocho is on reload. He's got 35 seconds until he can do anything again. Stu is in the cap in the IS-3, but there we go. We got Guccio still helping him out. The 110 has shells ready, as does Stu. He's going to surely make that. He will. And now Killer Pit 1v2. He cannot take any sort of damage here. 7 seconds left until he has a shell available. He's got to pull off something insane to pull, even keep this in check.
Yeah, he's got to make 2 shells to kill Guccio, 1 shell to kill Steroid, so that's 3 shells in total, and well, it's a hard, tall ask, especially against the huge front armor of that 110, the Chinese tier 8 heavy tank. Very hard to deal with from the front, as I said, but Killer Pit has failed so far. Can he make something happen?
Not this time, and there we go. Strong will pick up the attacking side with a very unorthodox style of play then at the beginning. It certainly caught us by surprise, picking up such an early and opening kill then, and then following it into the rest of the game with the Northern Cap actually working out pretty well, and they just held on. What do we make of this? Because that was a little bit unique there.
Well, the first thing to mention is I thought Killer Pit had won that engagement up north, but the thing is he got pretty much 2 shells because of the position he was in, and Killer Pit couldn't make the shell against him. He didn't have the gun depression to deal with that, and then you had Raven, Message, and Nuocho go in, Message and Raven decided to go forwards and try and deal with those 3 heavy tanks. New Multishow was like, screw this, I'm not going forwards, and he left those 2 on their own, which might have been actually the correct decision, considering Multi didn't have enough shells to kill them, and I don't think there would have been enough damage to actually take those 3 down. So I think maybe the reset was the reason why those 2 went forwards, but they probably should stay back a little bit. If Killer Pit had won that one-on-one engagement, it would have been better, but great individual performances by those players from Stronk Siema secured in that game.
Yeah, it's quite impressive.
And also that one shot against Raging Potato.
That also helps.
That helped at the beginning as well.
Yeah, that's certainly a big factor. And there's still one more go on this map. But Melly, how are the people at home doing so far? Are they keeping up to date with the action here? Are they getting involved?
Twitter always is a nice way to exchange opinions about happenings. So people, if you have something on your mind, use the hashtag WGLEU to get involved, to join discussions. And Nagatron tweeted you something nice because we asked specifically for something nice for Ollie. And as everyone, he loves your hair, Ollie.
Thanks.
How much time do you spend like fixing it?
About 10 seconds.
Yeah.
How much time do you spend?
This?
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's like...
How much money do you spend?
Oh, that's not true.
It's a
well,
wig,
my mom
right?
is a hairdresser.
There you go. There
So-
you go.
That's one bonus.
All right. Fair enough.
And I bet your
My
hair product is more
My
expensive
sister's
than
a
mine.
hairdresser as well. She used to be.
Cool.
I love this conversation.
Yeah, hairdressers are awesome. Hairdressers unite.
Ollie just really likes discussing hairdressers.
I have no idea. I'm so out of my
How
depth.
did this happen?
I'm so out of my
This
depth.
is why you
It's all
don't
Nagatron's
host.
fault.
It is. Blame Nagatron. His hair is looking fantastic as well. You know, we've got to say, over on the NA show, nice hair work.
Yeah.
Really impressive.
Absolutely.
Everything else, we don't take notice of that, but
No.
hair, real good.
10 out of 10.
The team vote is 57% for Penta Sports.
I thought it'd be more than that. I think that's a little light for them.
Yeah, it seems like the team, the audience at home can't really decide because I don't know. if-
Poland ball.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I was about
Always a good
to
factor.
head towards the team logo. I mean,
Yep.
you can't refuse Poland Ball, can
No.
you?
Maybe
There you go.
Britain Bull, but it is pretty fantastic. Maybe one of my favorite logos of all time.
It's pretty good actually. It's only up there. It's better than most. I'm pretty sure half of these are made on paint when they're just at home like, that'll do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of like the worst logo we've seen
Ever?
ever.
Ulanska Fantasia.
That
Maybe
was
one of
pretty
the-
awful.
some
That
bad
was
ones.
pretty awful. Anyway, awful aside, let's turn our attention to something a little bit better. We are in game, and on the defending side this time, it's going to be Penta. On the attack again is Stronk, and they're going to have to bring out something pretty impressive, and let's see if it works out. A little bit different this time. Not going for the same beginning, switching things up.
Not going to get one shot this time around. Never give up. No, Raging Potato being careful that he doesn't get caught out. You can see that Stronk Siema knows it'll only work once, considering they're just sitting down in the E1 area, not pushing forward. Very interesting that we're actually seeing the pushing coming out on this map. I mean, we saw it a lot in 742 where it was all about the hull down in the middle. Not so much this time around, but Speed and Wilson going forwards. This is bad news for Stronk Siema.
Oh my word, and they just got decimated. Raven and Raging Potato set it up, and New Mulcho just knocks it out of the ballpark. Speed now is back in the hell up. He's like, well, that went really quite poorly for us. I'm going to take the 1-to-1 here and hope I don't die, but I think Raging Potato is chomping at the bit to get involved. Raven's doing a great job on his own, a player that I'm not too widely aware of. And you can see this exchange surely going in favor to Penta. However, on the northern side of the map, things are going a little differently.
Well, Raging Potato just missed the ram there. That was a big deal. He just
come
cost himself
on.
a little bit of damage, I have to say. You can't be making these mistakes, Sunshine. But he does find just a batch of speed. Now, the cap is underway via Struroids in the 110. And, well, Ajek hull down, I guess, behind some of those stone fences, those walls, otherwise they're known as.
Stone fences.
But Killer Pit in the IS3 around the corner now. Message New Multi Show have to deal with these two.
Yeah, and those brick huts, also known as houses, going to be standing in their way. Hacky New Mulcho and Message, this time holding a better position for this cap. I think this is a little bit more well-rounded from Penta. I think they were kind of expecting this a little more.
Yeah, for sure. Message, he can just sit. Oh, Hacky
Well,
does go down.
Ouch.
But Message is unspotted there. He can make the shot continually. Stewards will be on the reload, but Raven still has to get around the side in the MX 1390. You got Never Give Up and Gutso in the 5100s just to deal with that to rotate. So it could be very dangerous. New Multi Show take almost 900 damage in one volley.
Oh, Message just being, body blocking his way in then. 2 shells bouncing off him. They're going to be absolutely gutted from that. But now Raven, Raging Potato, and Killer Pit are surrounding this cap. They're going to start being able to really apply pressure. But at the moment, Stronk actually retain the HP advantage. They're doing well until Killer Pit might just want to start turning it. The Pershing does go down, and with 24 seconds left, Penta are keeping this one close, but they are low on HP. But I don't think that Stronk is really in a position to do much with it. Butcher gets found by the dead zone, the 5100 winning out in that one, but they took a lot of damage, but that cap is now a long way off.
Yeah, I don't think the cap was ever really the whole point of the tactic. They're just using it as bait and then setting up basically defensive sniping positions to try and take down the tanks that are going for that bait, but it's not gone so well as Penta found some great angles.
Yeah, Raging Potato coming in there at T54 lightweight is just going to do irrevocable damage, and Guccio now, well, he's got almost the entirety of Penta to aim at, and they are low. He could have some fun here. He will have a shell available in about 1 second now. And misses. That's not what you want to be doing here. Killer Pit is still alive. Second one's going to land, but every single time he makes one shot, one's going to come back in. Killer Pit goes down, but now here comes Raven. Here comes Raging Potato, and surely here comes a final shell. He's still trying. He's still fighting here, and he's actually doing pretty damn good, but he's still down so low, 28 HP, and finally, Message just leaves him in ruins. 3-1, map 1.
Leaves in Ruinberg, actually. +1.
Oh. Can Nagatron come over to EU? I'm just saying, I'll pay for your flight. The rest is up to you. But still, Penta picking up 3-1. I don't think that's too surprising.
Yeah.
Nicely adapted on the second round, I think we can say about that. And what do you make of it? Do you think they were actually aiming to adapt well enough if they went for that Northern cap again? Or just smart play, making sure they weren't so kind of herded into one sort of strategy?
Yeah, well, I can see the whole theory behind it. I mean, as I said, they wanted to use steroids with the frontal armor, tempt Penta into awkward situations, and then take them down. But Penta overmatched them in that northern kind of village area.
Yep.
So they won that fight. And then once they have that northern village area, they can always get the decap, even against the 110. And the 5100s, which in my opinion should just pushed around and dealt with the tanks coming from the city. So altogether, I think Penta, they just won the attrition battle, and Stronk Siema just, even with the 5100 sniping, they just sitting ducks basically.
And considering this is probably the most one-sided game we've seen so far, result-wise at least to this point, there's still a possible other 2 maps. It's still the closest vote. Melly, people out there at home, are they still keeping this pretty much neck and neck?
Pretty much, yes.
Wow.
It's shifted to 60-40, which is still close.
That's still pretty close, yeah.
And we have a tweet regarding the Penta roster
whole
from
tweet.
Dave. This Penta roster is properly strong. There are a top 3 tip for me.
Ooh, who said that? Who's going for the top 3?
Tip. Dave Tomley.
Dave?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Dave,
He's
nice to have
tweeting
you
us
back.
a lot. Yes.
Dave.
He already told us that he missed us, and we missed you too, buddy.
I wonder what happens to Dave when we're not doing a regular show. I think he just sits here looking at the Twitch channel like, I'll be back soon, guys.
No.
You know what I mean? What was it Futurama with the dog that gets, spoilers? But, the dog when it was Fry goes into the dog waited the whole time.
No, that's so
No,
sad.
Melly's gonna cry, alright. He's like that, he just sits there waiting forever they'll return someday. Some fine day. But no, we are back.
I reckon it's just
no more.
Mitch under pseudonym. He's just in a studio right now just writing to us.
Probably.
I reckon it's him.
We've actually let a stalker into our midst. That's what's happened here. And in case you
Pretty
didn't
much.
know, I think
Stalker is
I
back
think we
in the
should at
midst.
least let him know what's happening in the next couple of games. So
I did. I met him on the hallway, when I just snuck out in between the games.
Yeah.
And I met him, and he was like, "How's it going? What's standing?"
All right,
How do the
let's give him a
teams
little
play?
announcement. Let's give him a little bit of a treat because you guys out there, you may remember Mitch. I don't know, maybe you do, maybe you don't. He hosts every single one of these offline finals. You know, the Australian guy tour, tall, weird haircut, massive head, weird jackets, that guy.
Yeah.
You're remembering.
Weird shirts.
Weird shirts, yeah, flowery, strange
And-
shirts.
and flies.
He ate the lemon.
Bow ties.
He's that guy. Do you
Yeah.
remember the one who
Bow
ate the
ties.
lemon? Bow ties
Season
as well?
3 finals.
Exactly.
I
So
won't ever forget that.
no one will. Lemons
And
out
the
everywhere
draws.
are crying.
And the draws.
Just crying forever.
Prokhorovka.
Yeah, the draws in Prokhorovka. But that aside, Mitch is actually going to be joining us as a caster
Yeah.
for a regular show. So me and him will be kind of switching things up. It's going to be split between myself, Ollie, and Mitch. So you're actually going to get some variety because, you know, it's the spice of life and all that good stuff. So you're going to have Mitch taking my place every now and then. He'll be bringing that beautiful Australian accent probably once a week. I can imagine we'll split it pretty evenly.
Yeah, it'll be a Monday, Thursday
There you
thingamajiggy.
go. So you can get your favourite caster. Sadly, you're stuck with Ollie. Until we
I'm,
fight
I'm,
him for
chained, I'm
Nagatron.
chained here, so it's all good.
he's-
You always have
yeah,
me.
Melly never leaves. Melly's been wandering the halls aimlessly, kind of like those, you know, ghosts in Harry Potter that just kind of like never really left. I watched Harry Potter really recently. That's why it's stuck in my head.
Good.
Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, Mitch is
Sounds
joining
like
us.
Chamber of Secrets to me.
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
English, what can I say? Come on.
Disgraceful. Disgraceful. Anyway, our bad joke aside, Mitch will be joining us, which is a good little bit of information for you. But we are just waiting for the teams to switch sides. But Melly, if people wanted to get their predictions and thoughts through to us, where can they go?
On Facebook.
Really?
Well,
I never
yes.
knew that.
On
Oh my
Facebook.
God. All these
it's
years.
not like that I said it like 8 times today. That's how she listens to me. But for everyone that just tuned in, welcome. You're just on time for the second map of the third game. Well, the last game of today. So the vote will be closed as soon. Will be closed until we enter the second map. So you'll have a little time left to head over to facebook.com/WGLEU as you see here, and get in your predictions. Click on the link on the very top of our timeline or the team vote button right above the timeline. You get forwarded to an app where you have to choose the team logo you want to root for and then enter the exact prediction of this matchup. And if you get it right, and if you're one of the first 3 ones to have it right, then you get a bonus code which contains 500 gold and 8 days of premium, which is pretty nice if you ask me. And another way of getting involved is heading over to Twitter and using the hashtag WGLEU while tweeting to make sure that we can see that tweet. That's how hashtags work. I don't think that I have to explain it to you. And also follow us on Twitter at WGLEU. It's really important because as soon as you leave your computer, I will keep on spamming you as long as we're sitting here to keep you on track what's happening on our servers during the matches, as long as the 140 character limit allows me. And also with following our Facebook and our Twitter web platform, you make sure that you won't miss anything what's going on regarding news and updates of our league and whatever else we may find important enough to share with you. And also if you want to rewatch the VODs of, for example, today in a couple days. No, I guess tomorrow. Kelly's really fast. Our lovely lady who's taking care
Kelly,
of the...
who normally walks around behind the camera.
taking care of the VODs. So people, youtube.com/WGLEU. You see a pattern. It's really easy. And as long we'll be heading into a short break and we'll be back soon. So don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the WGL EU. We are into game number 3, and we're into what could be our final map any second now between PENTA and Stronk. So far, it's been a pretty one-sided display. PENTA looking pretty well-rounded coming into this season. Of course, I'm still joined by the delightful, wonderful, one and only Melly and Ollie.
That was good, actually. That was the fastest thing I've ever seen. That was good. Okay,
good.
Yeah. It was like the guy at the playground who pretends to throw the ball at someone else but throws it at you.
Oh, that was
that was the verbal equivalent of that. Good job.
Good. Yeah. But how are you feeling about this game?
It's been pretty one-sided. I mean, considering the first matchup we had was really close. So we had Wusa just about take it against No Mercy. And that was 5-4. Then we had Kazna versus Virtus Pro, which was a 5-3, but 2 very decisive rounds, and Virtus Pro secured them the deal. Now, this one, 3-1, it's going all the way of PENTA at the moment.
And what is our second map, actually? I'm not too sure myself. I can't recall right now.
The second map is going to be Mines, where PENTA's going to be defending, and this is actually PENTA's pick. That
could be interesting, then. Let's see how that goes, because they were it was quite decisive in the game so far, so I feel this could be quite worrying if Stronk don't come out looking good in this. What do you think they can bring from what we've seen to this point at least?
Well, I think, being a Polish team, I think they're always going to be a good heavy tank. So the fact that PENTA gets 2 rounds on the defense straight away is maybe not so good, where heavy tanks are the standard, I guess you could say. Yeah. I mean, we saw Kazna use a lot of T-54s, but I think the IS-3, a couple of them, is definitely a good idea on this map. So I hope that they can, at least take 1 round and bring it onto the defensive side for them as well, because I think they do stand a chance of getting back into this game.
I tend to agree with you. There's always a chance there for these teams. Whether or not they can find that opportunity is now down to them. But Melly, if the people at home want to get their predictions about this game specifically or this round through to you in a certain amount of characters on some very specific social media site, it has a little bird.
With a where could they special keyword, you mean?
Yeah. How do they do that?
Oh, that's Twitter.
That's the one.
That's Twitter. Twitter.com/WGLEU and use the hashtag WGLEU.
Perfect. So there you go. That's where you get those final thoughts to us as we are now into the game. As said, it will be Stronk now on the attack. On the defense is PENTA. And we are seeing those IS-3s aplenty. And T-54s as well.
Yeah, good. This is a good lineup. I think this is going to be the standard one from most teams. Now, let's see if Killer Pit can live up to the legendary plays of Kusok, who did some great work in the previous matchup, the previous time he saw this map. But so far, he hasn't hit anything, and only 2 T-54s managed to get it on the hill. Actually, an LTTB.
So it seems that a lot of teams now are actually giving up that hill kind of exchange, at least initially, and why is that? Is that just because there's no real necessity to it, or is it just too much of a risk? Or wow, this is very aggressive actually from Stronk. Yeah,
huge eastern side cap. I mean, to be fair, they've seen a lot of teams go for this eastern side play, but none so quickly as Strong Siema.
Yeah, and well, they've got the IS-3, but they're not going for the cap. They're going straight in for the push. This is insanely aggressive. This is very different. Raging Potato and the Dead Zone are going to be on the front lines very soon, but Gucci are getting caught out. This could be dangerous from both sides.
Well, they're basically using the fact that PENTA has an artillery, so they can push and they can be an aggressive and actually use that 1 tank less in the game, one damaging tank less in the game to their favor. But so far, it hasn't gone well as Raging Potato takes down Gucci.
And the crossfire is just working against them. Yeah, Message may go down once he gets overwhelmed on the hill in the IS-3, but the reinforcements are with Raging Potato. These 3 tanks cannot crest that hill, and Message single-handedly is actually holding these guys back some way. The LTTBs cannot get into this battle. They're struggling to get past him. Speed takes one as, brilliantly done by the Dead Zone. This crossfire, this precision is absolutely sublime to watch. And now Lucas and Yek are really in trouble here.
Yeah, they're just going to push forwards. PENTA knows that they have a 2-tank advantage, so much more HP than Strong Siema. They can just push Raging Potato and that IS-3 behind that tank and take him down.
Oh, this is just brilliant to watch. Raven and the Dead Zone just going to pick up the final pieces that push towards them as Message even deals with Butcher in the center of the map. Now, Message is in a 1v3 there. He stayed alive, he kept the ground, and he's taken someone down. Brilliant play from this individual, being the linchpin that an IS-3 needs to be, as now Never Give Up going to try and get in there. Another very reputable player, but he's now surrounded on both fronts. He's got Numocho to the right, Message to the left, and this duo is getting more and more deadly, and Never Give Up is going to feel the full force of it, as Wilson now, the last man standing in a 1v far too many, is going to be put out of his misery by the Dead Zone, and that's a 4-1 scoreline in favor to PENTA.
No, really decisive. Probably the most decisive round we've seen. I mean, fair enough to Strong Siema for just going aggressive, because we saw Virtus Pro make that right side push work for them, but this time it just didn't. I mean, you could see the initial damage too much. Gutso making a massive mistake. He was the one on the lowest amount of hit points, but he crossed over to try and take down Killer Pit, and it just didn't work out for them there.
No, and I almost wish we could have a replay of just Message point of view, because I don't know how he kept those 3 players back. I know they were on the hill trying to make shots, but they couldn't push down. They didn't want to try and challenge him in the IS3. And his presence with New Multishow seems like a really deadly duo here. Yeah,
that's what they had. That's the thing you got to remember. New Multishow was in the background providing support to Messig, and to be fair, Strong Siema were trying to make the shots across and trying to protect those T54 lightweights, but it just didn't work out. It just badly executed all round, and Guzio making kind of a big mistake, and good defensive setup. You could see that Penta had trained against that push quite nicely, and Raging Potato and the IS3 did great work as well.
It certainly did. I'm really impressed all around. There's so many big factors in this game and so many big players for Penta. I'm actually a little surprised it's working this well. I know that Strong's new and they're going to be a little rusty, but then you look at the first game of the day, and if I'm not mistaken, just to double check, New Mercy up against Wusa, that was an extraordinarily close game. And considering that, No Mercy weren't exactly, this huge team coming in, they weren't this, massive lineup, they pushed it that far. I was kind of hoping the same from Stronk, because people were backing them. They picked up a lot of good players, as you said, from the Polish scene. And we're not seeing any of that just yet. And I don't know if that's Stronk being weak, which is a horrible thing to say, or Penta being good.
I have to say, one guy who's been okay, apart from that last round, Butcher. I mean, he came over from Lucky Karaki, and also skipped out Season 5. That was a Freudian, that was a Freudian slip right there.
Oh, I'm so glad to be back with you, Ollie.
Caught myself there. But I mean, he missed that whole season. He's coming well into this one. I think his damage has been on point, and his plays have been on point. And, Stu Royds didn't play so well on Ruenberg, and being replaced by the ex-team captain of Evil Planet Squad, Lucas Shiasti, doesn't seem to have done much so far, but we're on match point right now, and Penta, you got to remember, lost against Wusa in those Season 5 finals, so theoretically Wusa should be the better team.
In theory, right? But we'll see. Stronk, I'm still looking at to find some more potential amongst them, find a little bit more of that kind of fire that comes with, a lot of these Polish players have a lot of, not necessarily aggression, but a lot of brilliant plays. You look at like Elian, for example, or any of the other guys that have kind of come through the scene, and they really do represent their country so damn well. But I'm not really seeing much of it from Stronk. They don't seem that creative just yet. They've been a little lackluster, but they still have a chance here. But it's their final chance, and I can imagine we won't see that right side push. It clearly didn't work very well in the last game. It was reminiscent of previous tactics, but none that really worked in that situation. So what else can they go to here? What else can be in their bag of tricks so they can go, all right, well, that didn't work. Where do we go next? Where do we kind of turn to now to go right? Well,
the fundamental problem isn't necessarily their tactics. They're just not working. They're not doing well under pressure in those awkward situations where, if it's 2 versus 1 or 3 versus 2 or 3 versus 3 or whatever it is, they're not winning those damage battles, those little micro battles, which is a big problem. So I don't think their tactics are the main issue, but they look a little bit under practice, a little bit under trained going into the season, and having qualified through Silver Series coming second, you expect to have a little bit more practice going into obviously Season 1 of the Wargaming League Europe 2015.
Well, here we go. This is going to be interesting, isn't it? There's a lot of T-54s here. And I think we're just going to see Deathmatch go down in the middle of this map.
Yeah, Penta going for a kind of Kazner S style, just wanting to push into the middle, and this is all going to be about execution and firepower.
Here we go. Let's find out who's got it. Oh my god, Stronk are not stopping. They're going in for this. And backs to the wall. Penta are doing the damage back. The shots aren't landing too perfectly just yet. Yet gets a lot of fire towards him, but message being taken very low. Gonna have to slip towards the back, leave the 3 tanks in front of him as cover, but he's still getting hammered to pieces. Yet comes in towards Raven, and they're surrounding them. This aggressive play might just work with Stronk, but let's see if they can really make it stick here. They have cover. They have their attention drawn towards them. Hacky's low. Hacky goes down, and this crazy aggressive play might just work until right there and then. New Mocho's still in the battle. Wilson trying to focus here, but they're just being outdone, and New Mocho is in his element. He thrives in these battles. He's got backup. He's got Raging Potato and the dead zone, but Butcher is still alive, and he can still turn this one around. He'll have to do a 1v4, but left, right, and center, the shells are coming in. He's taken down one, but New Mocho has the shell. Raging Potato a second away. Oh, this is going to be down to the wire, but I think Numulcho's going to have that, as he does. And Penta, in the brawl itself, finally show up, and that's when Numulcho just shines. You put that guy in those wild, crazy battles, and he's like in this little zen mode, just above it all, just watching these shells fly around. Well, I'll take down 3 of you. You know,
he came out with almost full hit points. I mean, it could be considered a good thing or a bad thing. I mean,
but he was there. That's the thing. He wasn't anywhere else.
It's true. He was there. They just decided not to go for Numulcho.
Why?
But you got to be impressed by Penta's firefighting ability, because you got to remember Killer Pit basically did no damage that game.
Yep.
He hit a heat shell into the back of the track there onto Butcher. Didn't even do any damage there. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously he could have done one big shell, and I didn't see it because of the amount of chaos was going on. But they took down that LTTB really quickly, which evened it up straight away. And then they had Dead Zone as a kind of bait, and you could see that Strong Siema just didn't know where to go or what to do. And even with Penta's back to the walls, you could see they turtled down like Roman army style and got those shots on.
And considering Stronk had the cover, that's the big thing that's in my mind. They had, as you said, the cover done behind the little rock, that small area, and still they couldn't make the play happen, which is just indicative of a better team being up against you if you can't use even having that advantage. But still, Melly, the people at home, this was a close vote. Which way did it swing in the end?
Still stuck with Penta, but regarding the end score, 5-1, it should have been much higher.
Yeah.
But as said, we're still at the start of season. People have to see how their votes go, how their teams play, and maybe we'll see stronger votes within the next few match days. So to everyone, thank you for getting involved. And am I going to close the show?
Do you want? I'll give you the closing baton.
I was just.
But before we close the show,
let's look on the results.
That's exactly that. Let's look back at the results really quickly so you guys can just be kept up to date with the WGL EU so far. In case you missed all those early games, we did kick off with a cracker. A lot closer than expected, 5-4. No Mercy coming out, turning a couple of heads, denying Worcester the clean 3-point pickup. Following that, Kazna just being pushed a little too far by Virtus Pro, I feel.
Yeah, they did really well on mines, but on steps they just got bested a little bit. A couple of fast rounds sneaked Virtus Pro the win, who looked a little weaker than most seasons, but that was probably my favorite matchup. We had some really high quality games, and then Penta showing the new boys that Penta still has it, and those roster changes seem to have worked well. And I have to say, Penta seemed to have done a good amount of training and come a lot of way from what I saw even 1.5 weeks back.
I can imagine the votes will start swinging just so drastically in their favor from now on. I think the 50-50s are going to be stopped. But this was only play day 1, match day 1, match week 1. It doesn't matter. This was day 1, all right? There's still lots more to come. We've got 11 weeks of content, basically. And let's look at the next couple of games coming up for you guys. Thursday's matches are just as good. You get to see Team Supreme. I'm a little jealous I don't get to cast that one. We're going to have Mitch here casting this with you. And what do you make of these lineups?
Well, Supreme is going to be the most interesting one against ASAP. I feel a little bit sorry for them. I mean, if Supreme have done the training and a little bit of homework, ASAP, who just joined us like a few days ago, basically, from the Open Qualifier, it's going to be really hard for them to win. Then we have Tornado Rocks, who, to be fair, have been good. They won they got into the league through the relegation match against Utopia, so they've always known that they'll be playing. Previously known as Polite People, of course.
Oh, okay.
Ding, first from Silver Series. So those two are really well matched, and I think it's going to be a great game. Probably the one to look out for on Thursday. And finally, the other Open Qualifier team, Utopia, the Polish team, against Synergy, who...
we get Stalker back.
We get the good old boy Stalker back. I'm looking forward to that. And of course, they qualified through winning their relegation match. So, yeah, I think Synergy Utopia would also be good.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch these. I'm going to be making sure I catch these whenever I can. But, of course, it's enough from us, myself, Lauren Pansy Scott, and Ollie. That's us done. But it's all over to you, Melly. I've given you the baton of closing the show.
That's so nice of you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. It was a pleasure to have you around. And we'll be back on Thursday, same time, same place. And I hope to see you back. See you soon.